Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, I want you to picture this. We're in a stuffy lawyer's office, and you can literally cut the tension in the room with a knife. A family is gathered together for a will reading, but honestly, instead of quiet reflection, it feels more like a twisted victory lap for a family that thinks they just hit the absolute jackpot. So we're going to uncover exactly what went down in that room and dive into the incredible story of Olivia Bennet's silent legacy.
Let's just dive right into this wild contrast, because it's crazy. The lawyer starts reading the will, and the older sister is handed this absolutely massive inheritance. I mean, we're talking a literal check for $7 million, plus the vast majority of the grandfather's property. But then, the lawyer slides something else across that polished table toward 35-year-old Olivia Bennet. It's not a check, it's not a property deed, it is a single, crumpled $1 bill. I mean, the disparity there is genuinely shocking, right?
And her family? They don't just sit there respectfully. Oh no, they react with outright cruel mockery. Olivia's own mother leans forward with this terribly satisfied smirk on her face and literally says out loud, "Some daughters just don't measure up." Imagine sitting there and hearing your own mom say that. Meanwhile, the older sister is waving her $7 million check around like it's a championship trophy, and the dad is happily toasting his sudden wealth with the lawyer's cheap, lukewarm coffee. They are openly laughing at Olivia's expense.
But here is what is so incredibly fascinating to me about Olivia's reaction. Confronted with this deeply insulting $1 inheritance and her entire family just laughing at her, she doesn't scream, she doesn't cry or storm out. She displays this quiet, unbelievable dignity. She just simply picks up the dollar bill and softly says, "Thank you." And why does she do that? Because Olivia knows a secret. She knows something about what's left in that lawyer's folder that the rest of her celebrating family has no clue about.
Well, let me tell you, that gloating didn't last very long. There was one final document still sitting on the desk, a handwritten letter. And exactly 40 seconds after the lawyer broke the seal and began reading it, the joyous laughter in that room stopped. Forever. But okay, before we hear what that letter actually said, we really need to rewind and understand exactly how this family got to this breaking point.
So let's flash back 4 years. Olivia wasn't caught up in any sort of family drama back then. She was a high school art teacher, just living a very peaceful, quiet life that she absolutely loved. But then a tragedy hit. Her grandfather, who the whole family affectionately called Pops, suffered a really severe stroke. And the doctors were crystal clear on this. Pops was going to need full-time, round-the-clock care, and there was absolutely no way he could keep running his beloved family hardware store.
So this tragedy forces a massive choice upon the family, right? And how do the parents and the sister respond? Instantly, they claim they're just way too busy. They've got vacations planned, demanding careers, super important social events they just literally cannot miss. They essentially couldn't be bothered. But Olivia? She looked at the man who helped raise her, resigned from the teaching job she loved, packed up her entire quiet life, and moved all the way back to her small hometown to become his full-time caretaker and keep his store running.
Now, I want you to really think about the sheer weight of what Olivia took on, because it was grueling. Every single day at 6 a.m. sharp, she was unlocking the heavy doors of Bennett Hardware, doing exactly what Pops had done for over 50 years. Her mornings were entirely spent brewing coffee for the local farmers, helping folks find the right tools, and physically stocking heavy shelves. And her evenings, they weren't her own either. She was administering Pop's medicines, cooking all his meals, and just sitting quietly beside him, even when the stroke made it hard for him to speak. It was an exhausting, incredibly lonely, and completely thankless routine. But she never complained, not even once, because she loved him.
And while Olivia was living that exhausting day-to-day routine, the rest of the family was essentially a ghost. I mean, they visited maybe a couple of times a year. And when they did show up, did they ever ask Olivia how she was holding up? Nope. Never once asked about the extreme difficulty of full-time caregiving. Their only questions were always about the hardware store's profits and the real estate value of the land sitting behind it. They viewed Pops and his entire life's work purely through the cold lens of money. But Olivia? She saw that store and that exhausting routine as preserving Pop's legacy.
During those quiet evenings together, Pops would sometimes reach out, grab Olivia's hand with his weak fingers, and whisper this phrase to her: "The one who opens the door every morning is the one who truly owns it." At the time, Olivia just brushed it off. She figured it was just the sweet, kind of fading ramblings of an old man. She had absolutely no idea that her grandfather was incredibly lucid and that he was actively leaving her this brilliant, foreshadowing clue.
All right, so this brings us right back to the present day.
Pops has sadly passed away peacefully in his sleep, and the family, the ones who hadn't been there for 4 hard years, well, they arrived remarkably quickly for the funeral, and even faster for the will reading. So we are back in that stuffy lawyer's office, the cruel laughter is echoing off the walls, that single $1 bill is sitting right in front of Olivia, and then the lawyer clears his throat. He announces that there is one final secret envelope, a handwritten letter from Mr. Bennett that he firmly insisted must be read aloud in its entirety right then and there.
So, the lawyer breaks the seal. He unfolds the paper and begins reading the grandfather's exact words. "To my family, I have watched quietly for the last 4 years. I saw who truly showed up and who only came when they wanted something." Talk about a mic drop, right? Just imagine the sudden massive shift in that room's atmosphere right at that exact moment. The realization of their own profound absence is suddenly crashing down on the parents and the sister all at once.
The lawyer just keeps reading. "Olivia gave up her career, her dreams, and her own future to take care of me and keep my store alive. She opened those doors at 6 every morning without ever asking for thanks or recognition. Pops saw everything. His body might have been failing him, sure, but his mind, it was razor sharp. He saw the exhausting 6 a.m. wake-ups, he saw those lonely evenings, and most importantly, he saw the stark contrast between his granddaughter's massive sacrifice and the rest of his family's pure greed."
And this right here is the true emotional core of Pop's message. He wrote, "Money is easy to give, but time, love, and loyalty cannot be bought." He completely understood that the easy way out is just throwing money at a problem or waiting around for a big payout. But the real currency of family, the real currency of a meaningful life, it's showing up. It's the time, the love, and the unyielding loyalty that Olivia proved she had every single day for 4 long years. And boom, here is where the stunning twist is finally revealed. Because she kept its heart beating, Pop's letter legally superseded the very first document. He left the hardware store, the highly valuable land behind it, the family home, and the vast majority of his entire estate to Olivia. That initial will they read, the one with the $7 million, it was a decoy, a total test, a hollow inheritance just meant to expose their greed. The true legacy went to the one person who actually earned it.
And just like that, the room was plunged into deafening silence. All of that mocking laughter from just a minute ago completely vanished. The mother who had cruelly smirked about daughters not measuring up went entirely pale. The sister, who was literally just waving her check around like a trophy, dropped her hand and just stared at the polished mahogany table in absolute shock. For the first time all day, nobody in that room had a single word to say.
So, fast forward to today. If you visit that small town right now, the sign still proudly says Bennett Hardware. And if you swing by there at 6 a.m. sharp, you will absolutely find Olivia turning the key in the lock, serving her community with the right tools, good advice, and a friendly smile. She didn't sell the land, she didn't cash out, she kept the doors open and the lights on, exactly like Pops asked her to. And you just know that every single morning when she opens those heavy doors, she feels her grandfather's presence right there beside her.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, what are the real takeaways from Olivia's journey? First off, time and loyalty, they simply cannot be bought. They have to be earned through real action. Second, if you are ever the quiet one doing the hard, thankless work behind the scenes when nobody is looking, know that unseen sacrifices are always seen eventually. Whether it's in this life or through the legacy you leave behind, the truth always finds its way out.
I want to leave you with this final, powerful question to just kind of chew on long after this explainer ends. If you suddenly found yourself standing in Olivia's shoes, forced to choose between chasing the easy money or preserving the difficult, beautiful memories, which legacy would you carry? Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this story reminds you to cherish the people in your life who actually show up.